You are listening to Comedy Club for Kids presents Radio Nonsense, Radio Nonsense, Radio Nonsense, Radio Nonsense, Radio Nonsense. Hello and welcome to Radio Nonsense, the official Comedy Club for Kids podcast that's suitable for all ages from to
hello
and everything in between. I'm Tiernan, and this week, dearest listeners, I have decided to start the very first ever, and even more ever than that, Radio Nonsense horoscope readings. Yes, that's right. You heard me, unless of course you didn't, in which case I will say it again. Also, why didn't you? This is an audio podcast. What else were you doing? Unplug your ears, take those sausages out of your ears and listen. Right, that's it. Good. Yes, there you go. You heard me. I will say it again. I am starting the very first Radio Nonsense Scoroscope readings. And if you've never heard of a horoscope, then let me explain to you. Depending on when you were born, you will have a star sign. And what that means is there are clever folks like me who can read the stars even though they don't have any writing on them, and they don't even have any subtitles. They don't even really say anything, but I can still read them, and using these readings, I can predict your future. Yes, that is right. That is right. Linda! That's right, isn't it, Linda? Linda? Now, look, I understand you might not know what your star sign is, and so I will explain as I go along in order to help you out, and then you can use it whenever anyone else does your Scoroscope. So let me just put on some very special mystical music that will kind of help me get started and get focused. Yes, that's it. I'm now all tuned into the stars, and most importantly, your future, and also your future, and maybe yours. But no, not yours, though. Sorry. I don't know why that is. I'm trying. It's really hard. I don't know where yours is. Oh, no, wait, hang on. No, I've got yours now as well. It was just hiding. So, everyone, let's begin with the Radio Nonsense Floribopes. If you were born in the month of February, that means your star sign is Piccolarius, the half-gherkin, half-camel creature. That means that you're said to be unbelievably small, like even smaller than an atom, and you have a tendency to always wear very, very brightly coloured knee pads and say the phrase, Wallapaloo! In your future, Piccolarius, I sense, oh, what's this? Yes, danger, involving some mayonnaise and an angry wombat. Do be careful. Born in March? Then your star sign is Office Desk. You're said to be very good at keeping documents, and you have a whole area of your head just for a plant or a framed photo of your family. And when I look into your future, I see, oh wow, you will become the next winner of America's Got Talents, a show where people pick the very best eagle, even though you're not an eagle at all. Strange. Any April babies in the house? Well, that would make you born under the star sign of Gronk the Sad Potato. And Gronks are said to be able to withstand a lot of orange peel stuck in their teeth. And their favourite song is It's Raining Tacos, but sung by a worm. Looking ahead, your stars foretell that you will meet someone called Valerie, and then you'll really wish you hadn't. If your birthday is in the month of Flevtemberus, then chances are your star sign is green trousers medium fit size 30. That means everyone knows they should never ever lend you anything, as they'll never get it back because you'll eat it. However, green trousers like yourself are brilliant at spotting a pigeon from a long way away, which sort of makes up for it. Coming up soon for you, look out for anything spelled with the letter noodle or balanced on top of a short giraffe. Have you heard of the month of August? Well done, that means you were born under the star sign of 3 bags of gravel, please, which is everyone's favourite. Why? Well, I bet all your friends know you will never hear a song without yelling, "What is that? I hate it!" or eating baked beans with just your nose. In your future, I see an old, cold bowl of soup, and next to it, a note saying, "You owe me 5. Make of that what you will." And of course, who could forget anyone that thought about being born in Jamboree but decided against it as it's too cold? You, my friends, are under the star sign of Jeremy Raspberry. That means you often have 2 to 3 extra knees, and your favourite type of radish is time travelling. Looking ahead, and your stars say, oh, that's odd. They just say, top secret, go away, nosy. How lovely. Right, okay, we need to take a break. It is exhausting looking at the stars quite so much. They're very bright and they won't stop moving around, so it really hurts your eyes. But if you have a star sign I haven't mentioned, and you would like a special Radio Nonsense Scorrohope, or you have a question that really needs answering, or you want to send in anything else at all, then please get your nearest staircase butts, grown-ups, to help you email me at podcast@comedyclub4kids.co.uk. And if those same grown-ups would like to support this show, they can sign you up to the reward-free, but also advert-free Linda edition on Apple Podcasts, Acast, or patreon.com/Comedy Club for Kids. And do also check out comedyclubforkids.co.uk to find out when I and many other comedians might be shouting kid-friendly jokes near you. Now, listen, I can look into all of your immediate futures, listeners, all at once. And oh, yes, I can see right there, it is the most important to spit.
Thank you for joining us on your daily horoscope.
Oh yeah, should I just?
There you go. That's the creepy one. Yeah. Oh, you can hear. I don't do any clever timing it. I can work it out on the audio later. So don't.
Okay.
It doesn't need to be.
All right, because I could start. I've recorded this 3 minutes of one side of a conversation, so I could stop and delete this and restart.
It's totally yours. I can just delete those bits. It's all right.
It's all right. I've done it now. There we go. All right. I'm recording at my end.
Cool. Let me do a little pause then, and I'll do your introduction. Back on the podcast, it's the brilliant Matt Kirshen, aka Matt, who's never once been found on a ziggurat, aka Mac Tershel, creator of Dance Craze, the Miami Sprawl, and of course, as all of our shiphorn speaking listeners know you. But of course, Matt, you are very well known for making an entire working computer out of different pasta shapes, for your campaign to prove the alphabet doesn't actually exist, and most famously, for the time you accidentally swallowed a fly and it took over your brain for 3 years, leading to all sorts of hilarious escapades. How are you, Matt? It's so nice to have you back.
It is so nice to be back. Can I make a little confession, please?
Of course, please do.
If I feel like now's the time to come clean. But what actually happened is I had some alphabeti spaghetti that I was furious about. Like I'm not proud of this, but I've got a bit of a temper, as you know. And I thought it was spaghetti hoops. I thought it was just rings that I was getting. Suddenly it's all these letters. And
no.
And I was like, what is this? This can't be. This isn't right. This shouldn't exist. And in my fury, I knocked it all over the computer and I tried to style it out as like, look, a computer pasta computer.
Wow. So
it's like I was trying to hide my own embarrassment here.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's interesting. It's because the thing is now, I sort of worry that this has gone too far now because people are sort of trying to recreate this computer. They are, you've had really your face over magazines as the pasta computer genius.
It is, and I do. Do I regret being named Time Person of the Year? Absolutely, absolutely. Do I? Am I a little ashamed to have received the Congressional Medal of Honor for my achievements in the world of computing? Yes, I do. Because realistically, what I have been selling is a MacBook with some linguine.
Right.
And so technically Apple made those computers and I just spilled some extra pasta on it. So
sure. But at the same time, Apple didn't think of spilling pasta on it, and that's been the bit that's been popular. If anything, I would say
absolutely.
And
you think with their name,
yeah,
you think with their name they'd be thinking along food lines all the time, but they're not.
Of course, yeah. Why haven't they made computers out of apples? I mean, it's a very big question that no
It
one's
would be
asked.
a slam dunk, and they haven't done it. So yes, in a way, I guess in a way, I am still an innovator. I am still a visionary. But in another way, I was quite clumsy.
Right, but I think sometimes you don't know what's going to cause innovation. You don't know what's going to give you an idea, and who's to say every famous bit of music or every film, as always, they've sampled something. There's something that they may have seen before. They've taken a little bit from. You just took a whole Apple computer and put pasta on it. It's the same,
right? Exactly. They say there are no truly original ideas. So. So what if the song that I released last week is just "Hey Jude" by the Beatles, but every so often I go, "What?"
Yeah, but you see, that made it so much better, as far as I'm concerned, because I was listening to that, and it was like, for me, it was like, wow, Lennon and McCartney, they couldn't have, they were missing something, and then you added that work. It was like,
like, I guess in a way the technology didn't exist in the 60s when they were doing their work, and now the world has moved on and it was ready for me to make it what it should have been.
Well, exactly. And I also think you were very smart because you called the song "Hey Dude," and no one could have seen that coming. It's basically a different song.
It is that, again, with hindsight, was a slight mistake, because in the court case it has come up that
right.
"Hey Dude" and "Hey Jude" are very similar, which doesn't really help my argument that they are two entirely different songs.
Yeah,
and the other thing that doesn't help is that they are almost exactly the same song. So they're the two issues that I'm having right now.
But are they? Because one is about Jude and one is about a dude. And those are different people, right? You can't sing a song to a dude about Jude, because they'll be like, "Who's Jude?" And you can't sing a song to Jude about a dude, because she'll be like, who's this dude?
This is completely, it would confuse. I would say, actually, most people, if you met someone called Jude and you said, "Hey Dude," they would be annoyed.
Yeah, they'd be very annoyed. I think they'd be very annoyed. And I think that's a very valid argument. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm we're going to wait and see what the jury decides, but I think I'm feeling pretty confident.
Good. I'm glad to hear it. I don't think you deserve this kind of scrutiny. I think you're an inventive man and you're a creator.
Thank you.
It's these sort of petty arguments that get in the way of true creativity and art, I think.
Yes, yeah, I think so. I think so indeed. And I think, if anything, the lawyers representing the record company are enemies of art.
Yes. I agree. And that's they should really think about their lives and what they've done.
They should. What have they created in their world? Have they taken an existing very famous song and added what occasionally throughout it?
Not.
No, not at all. They've just gone to law school and they've used their powers for bad, not for good.
Absolutely. Think. I bet they walk around art galleries just confused and booing at paintings, and whereas you would walk around an art gallery, you'd add a moustache to famous portraits, and it'd be a whole
exactly. And then I would say, "This is mine," and I would tell the museum that they owe me millions.
Yes. And that's real art right there.
And I think that's the difference between an artist and not an artist, really. A creator, a creative, and a destroyer.
Yes,
because that's what they are, really. They're destroying dreams. They're destroying passion.
That's true. I have to say that you've got me slightly worried, Martin, because we're talking on a podcast here, and what maybe I should have done to make a really artistic podcast was taken someone else's podcast, and you and me could have just shouted "what" like throughout it, and that might have been real.
I mean, that's actually quite incredible there, because, again, the creativity that you just showed there, I think, I think 99.99% of the population would never think of doing such a thing, and that's what really, again, separates us from the rest of the pack.
Yeah. Wow. It's I'm honored I've got an innovator like you on the podcast, and I'm sure all of our listeners will just be hearing this, and you'll be inspiring them to go out and
I just want to be clear. I don't think of myself truly as an innovator. I think that's quite an arrogant thing. I just think of myself as a regular man who is extraordinarily innovative.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I think that's very humble of you.
Thank you.
To say that. Yeah. Just a regular. Because I
Yeah.
never really know what a
I'd say I'm
regular.
probably also one of the most humble people you'll ever meet.
Yeah, that's. I mean, yeah, absolutely. I was just gonna say, because for me, I don't. When you say like a regular man, like I never really know what that means. Like when you go to like the cinema and say, "Can I have a regular popcorn?" It's still, like sometimes the sizes are different.
Yeah, it does vary from place to place. So yeah, I guess it depends on what scale you're grading against. Because yeah, if you're grading me against like regular people, then am I, the average person in society? Then I probably am significantly better than that.
Right.
But if you're because of my
Right.
innovations, but if you're grading me against like the best of the best, then I'm still kind of top of the pack in that. But you get my point.
Yeah, well, I mean, as proved by the Time Person of the Year, which I think, hopefully all of our listeners,
Exactly.
I mean, they definitely read Time magazine. I'm pretty sure that's exactly what sort of children age kind of 6 to 14
Yeah,
read.
absolutely.
I'm pretty sure it's Time magazine. But I remember
I think yeah,
you...
rather than your cinema analogies that are quite confusing to them. How many people here have ever actually gone to see a movie? But yeah, most of them do keep up with the sort of literature that you buy in airport bookshops. I guess in another way you could say, what do I mean by regular? It means like I can fit in someone's hand with relative ease, and I come with free refills. So you can refill me for
How does that work? Do they have to sort of pour Sprite into your mouth? Or
it means at any point if I'm empty, as long as I haven't actually left the premises, I can be refilled.
Right, but you need to be refilled with things you need, like sort of food that you like and drinks that you like, or can this person refill you with whatever it is that they would like?
Well, I think in many ways you're at the mercy of the seller.
Right, sure, yeah.
You're it depends on their personal whims from day to day, and that's the risk you take. When you go up and say, "Fill me up," are you going to get something that you want, or are you going to get something?
Yeah,
you very much don't want. There's no way to tell really, but it's just, what is life without risk?
That's true. They could just fill you up with gravel though, and you'd be really sad. It'd be a really bad day.
Yeah, I would be sad, I guess, in a sense. But I think there are aren't there some birds, some like seabirds that swallow bits of small stones to help them digest the food, like it breaks up the food when it's in their stomach. So
I didn't know that.
I think that is a thing. So maybe it would actually over time improve my digestive system if I were to be filled to the brim with building materials.
Well, there are rock cakes and there is rock candy, isn't there? So maybe
there is
the same.
And they couldn't call them that legally if they weren't actually made of rocks.
I'm pretty sure you're right. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're right. I also have to ask the question, because you sort of say you'd fit in someone's hand, but then you talk about if you'd been emptied. Are you just sort of pooing on someone's hand?
I mean, if you want to describe it in such crass terms, then yes, I guess technically I'm pooing in someone's hand. Yes, if you really want to delve, okay, fine. I pull my hands up. I admit it. I am. If anyone has their palms in any way upturned in anywhere near me, I will be pooing in them, and that's what of it. Whatever. Is that a crime? Is it a crime? I mean, the police might tell you it's a crime, and the judge and the jury might say it's a crime. But is it really? Is it a crime if someone say has their palms flat on a table and they're looking the other way, to run up, drop trowel, and quickly leave a little brown present on them? Like, is that bad?
It's a bit like your art in a way, in that their hand had nothing on it and it was there, and you added something. You gave it creativity.
And once again, the police and the legal system are the opposite. They're removing things, like in this case, removing me from society by putting me under arrest and taking me to the police station. But that's, who's the creator? Who's the destroyer? That's what I ask you.
Yeah. These are big questions. And I think, clearly you've got your artistic duty to add to everything you see and embellish it with art, whether that art is a big old poo in someone's hand or not. Who's to say?
Who's to say that's wrong?
Art comes in.
There's probably people listening to this show right now who have art lessons at school once or twice a week, and they wouldn't have previously thought to leave a big old juice on the
yeah.
on the
It's
outstretched hands of their teacher. But now they know that that's an option, and so in many ways we're broadening the cultural knowledge and cultural experience of the world. We're enriching lives.
Yeah, I think it's, and I hope hopefully they're very grateful. I do think probably a lot of them in school will be making art with pasta, which is where you started.
Right. Yeah. Back in the day. The good old days, when we were just young and didn't even know what we were doing. We just, we're just experimenting. We're just wild and free and just, you just put everything out there and you see what sticks.
But
throw it at the wall, or in this case, at the keyboard.
At the keyboard, yeah. And that's, so if anything, you're inspiring them there. Who's to say that they won't work their way through the art world and eventually poo on someone's hand? Like, this could be, they could be following in your they could be very concerning footsteps. Yeah.
Although I do need to say that is my idea and that's my art. And if they do try it, I will sue them. I will sue them into the ground. I will leave them with no house. I will take their house, their car. I'll take the shirt off their back. Wow. Okay. I will take them to the cleaners, which they will also need to go to on account of all the poo.
Yes, clearly. I mean, obviously you've got to keep your thing and your idea. What if they were to see the poo in the hand, whether it's theirs or yours, and put a little flag in it or a bit of glitter? Is that then a whole new original piece of art?
That's clever. That's very clever. Yeah, I guess in that.
Although I've now just suggested it, so technically it's my idea, and I could see them if they did.
I mean, but you were on the show with me, so it's we're collaborators in this idea. Yeah. So technically, you would owe me 50% of everything you get from this idea. But
I see.
But everyone, you heard it, listeners, you're witnesses.
Yeah. This is quite an incriminating piece of evidence. Actually, this podcast. The fact they will, it'll be out there and people will hear it, and
there's no way to stop, except I guess you have control of the edit, but other than that,
I don't really. I don't really. There's pasta all over my keyboard. I don't know how to edit anything. I don't know how to do stuff.
Thanks for being a loyal customer.
Well, of course. I had to do it. I did want to ask why you never called them sort of macaroni books. Was that something because I suppose it's not macaroni, it's alphabeti. Spaghetti.
Yeah, I guess that's one of the reasons, and the other reason is that we didn't think of it, but it is mostly because it's a different pasta shape.
That makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Well, it's there. It's now on the podcast. It's now technically your and my idea. So you can have it for the next.
We thought of like Lenovo Think Bucatelli. We thought of that.
Yeah, that's lovely. That really
that was in the mix for a while.
Yeah,
it is because that has that kind of snappiness that you can think.
Yeah, but I can imagine people saying that all the time. Actually, yeah, in big sort of stage presentations and things. It sounds good. Sounds very good. Wow. Well, listen, Matt. I mean, it's an honor to have you here. Obviously, you're very busy with mostly court cases. It sounds like.
Well, you do what you can.
Yes, exactly. And you're keeping the justice system going. So without you, there probably wouldn't be any courts. And then what would those people do for a living? So it's very nice of you, really.
Exactly. I keep a lot of people employed, hand sanitizer companies.
Yes, exactly.
Bring them a lot of work.
Yes, absolutely. And who are the people that you take a keyboard to and it's covered in pasta? They computer fixer people?
Exactly, but nowadays we'll just try and sell it back to you. So
yes,
or sue you for taking our idea. It's a win-win for us.
Absolutely. Well, look, all I'm saying is you're benefiting a lot of people, Matt, and it's such a pleasure to have you on radio.
Oh, it's an absolute pleasure to be here.
I've had a question that's been sent in that I know you are the person that can answer it. But before I ask you this question, I've got some admin questions. How do you feel about admin questions?
I mean, I love admin. I think that's my favorite. Yeah, you're a speaking person. As you know, I work in the entertainment industry when I'm not designing computers or working my way through the legal system.
Yes,
or working yesterday's dinner through my system onto someone's palms.
Yes,
but the thing about the entertainment industry is, you've got to go on stage and do shows and have people laugh and clap, and that bit's dreary. But
really boring. Yeah.
you do get to do a lot of accounts and taxes, and you've got to book travel, and there's all sorts of maintaining a website. The being on stage and performing to audiences, that's the price you have to pay for the fun of being able to do spreadsheets.
Yeah, no, I don't think a lot of listeners will realize that as well. Is it, all those bits seem so fun, and being in films or like all the kind of the showbiz world that they think of, so being a big pop star and touring, that's not fun. What is fun is when you have to file your receipts once
and that's
a year.
why and I guess the real I'm not gonna, I won't lie, I'm not at like Rihanna's level yet.
Sure. Not yet.
Or like Taylor Swift or whatever, but at their level where they're playing arenas, they have so much more admin. So that's I guess that's the real payoff for getting to that point.
Yeah. That's the key. That's where you want to be. So, well, Matt, I'm sorry, I can only offer you 2 admin questions. It's not the same. I hope it will add to your overall admin levels, maybe get you closer to
it all counts.
Swift's level of admin. Yeah. If you add it just gives you more. If you add up the admin, that's another bit of admin to do, which in itself creates more
so
admin.
in a way, it sort of becomes sort of self-perpetuating.
Exactly. So hopefully this will help. I've got 2 questions. I know the second one I think is might require some time, but we'll start with the first. We'll see how we get on. But you take your time if you need to. I think they're quite tricky. The first question, quite simply, is what is this?
Oh, did you hear that just now? Did you just hear a noise?
Because not on my end. Did you hear it at your end?
No, I didn't hear anything. I'm not going crazy. I didn't hear anything. Some people might have thought they heard this voice going, "What is this?" But I didn't hear anything.
Oh, the voice saying, "What is this?"
Yes.
No, I heard that.
Oh, then I did hear it.
Yes. No, I made that noise.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yes.
That's why your mouth moved when that noise happened?
Yes. I've learned to do that. It's taken a while, but it's I found it very useful.
So in a way, you're sort of like an anti-ventriloquist in a way, in that you've managed to learn how to have your lips move while you speak.
Yes, yeah. I don't know I'm not throwing my voice. That's what I'm keeping it with me.
Yeah, like when words come out of you, people will see your lips move and they'll be like, "He's the one talking."
Yes, yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah. Well, I was really sick of all these like small little puppets taking all my work and all my credit, and
yeah, because that is the problem. If you're a natural speaker without your lips moving, as many of us are, any old talentless puppet can just sidle up next to you, open its mouth randomly when words are coming out of your closed mouth, and get credit for your hard work. Yeah.
There's a lot of very, very famous puppeteers who never wanted to be puppeteers. They wanted people to hear their beautiful voice, and instead, oh, look at this frog, isn't he funny? It's like,
it's not fun. Can I ask you, Tin, how long did it take you to learn how to speak without drinking a glass of water?
Oh, that was hard. That was really hard. That was years. That was real years. I had to. Do you know what? I had to just drink less and less water each time.
Right.
And then it sort of moved through different other like milkshakes because they're thicker. It's sort of easier to process. Like so you
had to learn how to not drink a milkshake.
Yes. It was. I can't say it was easy because it wasn't. So I wouldn't say it was. I could say it was easy, but I'd be lying. So I can't say it was easy. But I can.
You'd be lying through your teeth, which we now know is not how you speak anymore.
No, exactly. So it also was very hard, and I appreciate that for listeners. I should probably make this phrase more friendly to them. But the phrase normally is "got of gear," which I didn't realize was bottle of beer, but obviously for others, bottle of juice maybe. But now that I say it properly, it took me years to understand how you actually meant to say it.
It's such a conundrum.
Yeah, it's a real conundrum. And I'm sorry that you still struggle with it, because I also I find this conversation is very difficult because I'm constantly not sure if it's you or your cat that's talking to me.
Yeah, well, sometimes it has been my cat. I will be honest about that.
Sure, yeah.
Just because it's nice to, it's quite hard to focus for an entire conversation. So it's nice to tune out every so often and have the cat pick up the slack.
Yes. And the cat is very good at doing your voice, which I think is what's one of the most impressive. Like, I didn't realize that pets were good at impressions, but
because he's my cat, you see.
Yes,
so that's the voice he knows. That's the voice he grew up hearing.
Sure. Yeah, of course. Yeah. It's very handy,
I think if we got him later in life, then maybe he'd sound more like the owner of the shelter or whoever reared him as a kitten. But we got him young, so before he could even talk, that's how early we got him.
Wow. So you've had him a very long time. That's amazing. Yeah. That is amazing. Yeah, it's interesting. People sort of think it's only parrots that do that, but of course, most pets do, don't they? Really? I think.
Yeah, most pets do. It's just a lot of them very lazy.
Can't be bothered. Yeah,
and some of them quite shy. That's the other thing what you don't realize.
Yes,
it's quite. You sort of even animals you think aren't that shy, like a yappy dog, like a little yappy dog. That dog's yapping all the time. That can't be shy. Look at how he's jumping up. Like that's quite a bold dog, but actually, that dog is sort of a bit embarrassed of his own speaking voice, and so that's why he's yapping all the time, just to kind of cover it. There's actually sometimes the loudest people are actually the shyest. It's one of those lessons in life.
That's a beautiful but sad thought. That's a really I don't know, how do you work with a dog like that? What do you do to say, hey little guy, you've got a big voice, use it properly?
Well, I think you just have to meet them where they are emotionally and just be, you just encourage, you encourage their yapping, and you just hold space for them, and you just exist around them, and you just be like, listen, I'm an open, welcoming home for you, and when you're ready to speak, you can speak, but until then, you yap away, my friend.
Yeah. And then all the dogs, of course, they've got the problem where they start to speak, they can only say sausages, and that might not be what they want to eat.
Right, that is a risk.
They've got to work past that, which often means eating a good year's worth of sausages, which is
it does, which can get a bit samey even for the best of us.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a hard time. Wow. Well, thanks, Matt. I think you answered that question wonderfully, so thank you for dealing with the first admin question. The second question, look, I'm not gonna lie, I think this is tough. I think it's a tough question. You take your time on it, you think about it, you do what you need to with this. If you need to ask additional questions, that's fine. But Matt, would you rather every joint of your body made a different musical note when you moved, or if you tapped your head, it made the sound like a magnificent gong?
See, they're both really useful things. I can see a real purpose for that, in both cases. You know what? Gongs are quite expensive.
Yes, they are. Yeah.
And I do find it really annoying when it's dinner time having to individually phone everyone in our castle. Sorry, I should have told you I live in a castle these days, but
right, sure. I did wonder why you had an archer just sort of hovering behind you.
Yeah, we've been having a lot of attacks recently.
Right. So sure. That's a shame. That's a real shame. Yeah.
There's been a lot of people who've come up. We presume that they're enemies. There are a lot of they look a lot. There's families and they're holding guidebooks and
right. Yeah, that's how they
and that
yeah.
Yeah, so that there'll be like a mother and a father and two kids, and they'll be like looking up and they'll take some photos. And they'll pose. Often they'll ask one of the other attackers to take a picture of them in front of our castle, which we know is a reconnaissance tactic.
Yeah, of course.
And that's when we start shooting at them.
That's great. Yeah, good. Lots of. How many archers have you got there to kind of get rid of these attackers?
Well, not enough because they keep coming.
Sure. Yeah.
So
yeah. That's tricky. And is it just archers? Have you got any knights on horseback as well, or?
We've got the full complement of troops, but there's been a lot of communication issues. Some of them, a lot of them are. We're running into the fact that they can only say sausage. I should have mentioned that some of them are just dogs,
Right.
but
Sure. Okay.
so we're
Sure.
having that
Sure.
sausage, and also some of them are people who grew up with dogs and therefore can also only say sausages. But
Wow. Okay. But it's nice you've
so
taken
that's
them in.
so
Yeah.
those
That's
are
lovely.
issues. So
Mm.
there have been times that the attackers have been fended off with just a barrage of sausages, which
Sure.
is an imperfect weapon.
Mm. Mm.
It's not a pointless weapon. It does have an effect. I will say, if you are walking up to a castle with clearly vicious designs on it, but you suddenly have a large number of people and dogs pelting you with greasy bangers, you will at least initially retreat.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, and I think I was going to say, one or two sausages being thrown at you, think, well, that's a nice snack. 400, 500 sausages. You really
That's
get
what
the
people
message you
don't.
need to go. Yeah.
That's what people don't realize. Anything, even the nicest thing, if you suddenly have like too much of it, it's suddenly, it can actually be a burden. It can actually be quite off-putting in many ways.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. I think it sounds like a very sensible defense. And of course, they both sort of weapons get rid of attackers and also food for the dogs that keep asking for them, even if that isn't necessarily what they want.
Yeah. Like, I like trampolines. Trampolines are a lot of fun. But if someone threw 100 trampolines at me, I'd probably start, like, by the third or fourth, even that early, I'd probably start to think, you know what, I'm not as into trampolines as I thought.
No, that'd be a lot of trampolines. And it would
I'd start to think, you know what, actually,
very hard. Yeah.
No, boo to trampolines. That's what I would say. Boo to them.
Yeah, it's a very good point, actually. Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? You sort of think trampolines are really fun, but imagine if all you had was trampolines.
Yeah.
And you couldn't go anywhere without bouncing. Suddenly it's exhausting.
They say you should never say boo to a goose, don't they?
They do, yeah.
Or if you're shy, they say shy people shouldn't say boo to a goose. And that's because geese will always try and engage you in conversation. Geese are very genial.
Yes.
He wouldn't say boo to a goose. That's what they say. And because geese, they're always like, come and join the party. We've got a conga line going. And shyer people are going to be like, you know what, that's not for me. And again, I want to make it clear that's okay.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with being shy. There's also nothing wrong with being gregarious. It's who you are. But if you are on the shyer side of things and there's a goose around and it's, looking like, particularly if it looks like a party goose, Hawaiian shirt, a lot of feathers.
Yeah, little straw hats. Yeah.
Yeah, then you think like, don't be saying boo, because they'll be jumping in there.
I think even if you're not shy, it's fine not to want to talk to a goose. The conversation is often very samey. There's times when you're like, I'm in a rush. I don't want this conversation with a goose right now. I've got other stuff I need to do.
You know what? I'm so glad you said that. And I think more people should say that it's fine not to talk to a goose. It's okay.
Yes,
you don't have to talk to a goose. There's all this pressure in society when there's geese around to go up and chat and say stuff, but you don't have to. And I think that's a really good message.
Yeah, I think so. Especially Canadian geese. You don't need to talk.
No,
no, it's just same chat all the time. I do have to bring you back, Matt. Are you aiming for the gong then, rather than the different musical note? Is that what you would? Because the gong would be very soothing, but it would also probably really shake your head about just sort of sounds of a gong.
It would, but I just can't get over the summoning potential. It'd be so lovely to be able to summon people at a whim, at a moment's notice.
Yes, that's true.
Whereas depending on what tune my body made as I walked, I feel like there's a risk people would expect me to sell ice cream.
Yeah, right, sure. That is a problem. Do you not think, though, if every joint of your body made different musical note, you could probably change the tune? You could probably learn to harness that and play a variety of different tunes.
I mean, that is true. I guess it would also depend on the tone of my joints. But But sometimes, I guess there's also, it would really get in the way of playing other musical instruments. That's the other thing,
Yes,
because
it would, yeah,
to play a musical instrument, you do need to move your joints, and it's going to be a problem if in the process of doing that, you're also playing the instrument that is you.
That's
So,
true.
there's it might be like too many instruments at the same time. It'd be like trying to play a piano with a violin.
Yeah,
Trying to using a flute as drumsticks. It's just too much. It's too confusing. How do you do that?
And the problem is someone like you're regularly playing instruments. This would really.
I'm nearly
affect
always
your way
playing
of
an
life.
instrument. Yeah, it's. I mean, good luck editing them out of this. You're going to have to do a lot of work to the fact that I've been playing songs all the way through this.
Yes, I've got a very special. I mean, it's part of actually one of your past MacBooks. There's a special instrument filter that. Well, I don't know if it's meant to be there, but it's where the tomato sauce has really got into the keys, and as a result, it just doesn't record music. It's
I would say that is one of the better, more fortuitous side effects of our culinary mishaps.
It's very handy, apart from when I need to record music, and then it's very annoying.
Yeah, because it will delete all music from anything, whether you want it or not.
Yeah. It's very true, and it's why I've not really been able to listen to the full track of Hey Dude, but I'll manage it one day.
Because it really is if you run it through that system, what you will just hear is mostly silence, and then occasionally woo.
Yeah, which is really, when you forget it's playing and it just suddenly happens in the corner of the room, it really throws
it is a bit of a shock. It's a fun shock. I think it's a fun shock.
It is a fun shock.
It's good. It's good for social events. People are like, what is that? Where's that coming from?
Yes, but it's still, perhaps not always ideal. Well, no, I think you're wise to choose the gong. I think that's fair. My only slight concern is that people do this thing called gong baths now, where they all spiritual stuff, where there's no bath involved. They just hit a gong and then they all lie down. I don't really know what happens, actually. I've got no clue. My worry is you'd have a lot of people just lying down every time you tap.
Yeah, that does make more sense now you explain that there's no bath, because I heard what a gong bath is, and I got my hand on a gong fairly recently, and they're quite shallow instruments in many ways. They don't have as much of a dip in them as you think. And I was just trying to, I put it on its side and filled it up with water, and I was really trying to get clean, and it's
very hard. Yeah, no, Matt, I'm afraid you can't. I don't think you're meant to bathe in the gong unless you've got a particularly big gong.
Right.
But I also don't really know.
Now you say that, I guess you're sort of bathing in the sound of the gong, and that does make more sense, because I think I might have upset an orchestra now with hindsight.
Sure. Yeah.
Because
it's hard. It's hard because it's not clear. It's called gong bath. You think
it's not clear. It's not clear at all. And the fact that in the middle of their performance, I took the gong off of its stand, put it on its side, chucked some water in it, stripped off, and then tried to get myself clean by rubbing my body all over it. That was.
And did you use bubble bath?
I mean, I made some bubbles.
Right, sure.
Through my actions, but I was quite unprepared, so I would have liked to have brought rubber ducks. And with hindsight, if I can find an orchestra that I'm not banned from visiting these days, I will certainly be bringing ducks into them from now on.
Sure. Yeah, once that court case is cleared, then maybe you can give.
Because what really is a bath without a rubber duck? It's quite lonely in a way.
Very lonely. But it's not a bath, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, not at all.
Oregon. Well, listen, thank you, Matt. Thank you, Matt, for answering that. For answering the admin questions, really, very necessary. And now that means we can proceed with the important bit, right? We've had this question in. I'm going to read you the full text of this question. I hope that's okay. Or I could read you just one random word from the middle of it. It's your choice. What would you prefer?
I think I would like the full text, but I would like you to start from the middle of it and work your way out.
Oh, okay. From the middle and work my way out.
Yeah, that's the way I started to. Because that's the way I like to read, really.
Word? Yeah. How does that?
Because I know, like, there's. Yeah, well, there are like some languages that read right to left and some that read left to right, and I think there aren't enough that go middle out. And I think
is the best to start in the middle and then do a word either side of the middle and keep doing that until you're out, or is it best?
I mean,
to
that's
start in the middle?
that's the traditional way. Yes.
Sure. Okay.
Or
In
you
which
could start
case-
right in the center of the paragraph, and you could spiral your way to the
Right.
outside.
Let me go for everyone when does rude. It farts also are this why podcast question helps me have get I to and sleep old from pineapples Nina 10 am I high.
Okay, yeah, that's a good
yeah?
question.
Yeah, for the sake of the listeners, should I read it? I'm a bit worried if they don't read things like this, that won't make much sense to them.
Really? Okay, I guess.
Yeah,
I guess
I
for
don't know
the
if they teach in
for
schools
like the
and-
maybe like 2 listeners that was confusing to. I'm sure most of your
Sure.
listeners are perfectly fine with it, but I get maybe there's 1 or 2 who are.
Sure, but I don't like to discriminate.
No, that's fair. That's fair. That's actually very good of you.
So let me try. So the full in old fashioned. I know it's like out of date now and it's kind of frowned upon, but
Yeah, it's a little
old
bit
from
passé.
left to right reading. Hi, I am 10 pineapples old and I have a question. It's all in capitals, that word. Why are farts rude when everyone does it? Also, this podcast helps me get to sleep. From Nina. Nina! It's also in capitals. So just to break that down, this is Nina. Nina! It's all in capitals. She's 10 pineapples old. I don't know if you're aware of the pineapple age system. I think that makes her pineapples are normally only a few months. I think that makes her about 4.5.
Okay,
Could be
okay.
Could be wrong.
What does Nina mean by everyone farts?
Well, she says why are farts rude when everyone does it?
Yeah, but I don't. Do you?
No, I've never farted. No, absolutely
Right.
not. Think about it. It's disgusting.
What a strange thing to do. Like Nina might, but like trying to put it on all of us and try and claim that I fart, which I absolutely don't.
Yes, well, this is why I thought I'd ask you a question. I should also just warn you, Matt, that Nina did put this podcast helps me get to sleep. So it could well be that she's already fallen asleep at this point in the podcast.
Right, and just dreaming about this weird world where
is-
everyone farts when
Yeah,
I don't fart, you don't fart, neither of us fart. And
I don't think I've ever heard anyone fart. Yeah.
No, I've heard of it. I've heard it being written about in books, but I certainly never done it in my life.
Yes, which then makes you think it probably shouldn't be rude. It's quite a rare and miraculous thing when it does occur.
Yeah, it does. But I think it's quite acceptable to, if anyone starts farting, to start thinking, well, what is this awful thing that this person's done?
Yeah. Is that your cat making those sighing noises?
No, my cat's left the room. I don't know what noises you're talking about.
Oh, okay.
It's just me in the room, but I don't know.
Okay.
But anyway, let's go back to this disgusting thing that Nina apparently is doing that no regular human does.
Well, I've also just got to check that I am talking to you and not your cat at this point, and that was why I also worried. I could hear this.
Oh no, that's understandable. Yeah, no, my cat has left the room for ease of understanding.
Okay,
but,
that's good. That's good.
Yeah, I don't know what she's talking about. Basically, I think it's a nonsense. I think it's very silly, and
yeah, it's I could just hear this noise in the back. I can't quite, maybe it's something on the.
Oh, is there like some kind of like electronic sound in the recording? Because we're in different countries right now, so sometimes there's like some weird fuzz on the line or something.
Yes, maybe that is it.Maybe it's because you're in a castle. The castle's probably creaking and making some strange sounds. Yeah. How
you just paused again in the middle of that sentence? Like, did you just hear some other creaking or something? I don't know what.
Yeah, I'm so thinking
you keep reacting kind of strangely.
I'm worried. I think maybe the pasta sauce has got into another part of my map, but maybe it's reacting funny.
Right.
Yeah. I'm sure it's
fine. This is a very strange way to end this episode, because we were having a really nice conversation. You've just suddenly gone quite stilted and confused by me, and I don't know.
I'm sorry, Matt.
Is everything okay?
Yeah, it seems to be. I'm fine. I'm slightly worried about you. You keep pulling these sort of funny expressions, And I'm hearing these sounds.
Oh yeah, because I keep thinking about stuff. I just keep like having thoughts occur to me. So suddenly that's why my face suddenly goes a little bit flat and I look like I'm concentrating for a second. But that's because I'm I'm doing a show and I have to be very aware of stuff.
Sure. Right. Well, I'll try and focus on the question. You've definitely never farted before.
Yeah. No.
Maybe I've chosen the wrong person to answer this question then, because
it's a weird. It's very, very strange.
Yeah. Is there anything you think is rude about them, even though you've never seen one or heard one or smelt one or dealt one?
Well, from the description, they're pretty disgusting. Yeah, and I definitely would look down on anyone who does them.
Yeah, me too. Well, I don't really know what to say about it. What? So what was that? What was that? Have you got a small mechanical engine in your?
Sorry, what?
Have you got like a small mechanical engine in your castle? I don't know.
No, there's nothing.
A tiny motorized toy.
Nothing's. I don't know what you.
Very strange. Is it a small speedboat or perhaps a?
No, we're just doing a regular recording here. It's just me and the microphone.
Sure.
Me and my body and the microphone. I don't know.
Yes. Sure. Sorry, Matt. I got obviously distracted. It's very unprofessional of me, and I'm just trying to answer this very serious question, and I don't know. I keep getting distracted. I understand.
It's quite late for you right now, and where you are, so I can understand how you're getting a little bit.
Yes.
Okay, but I think I don't mind a little. It's obviously not the most professional on your part, but I'm okay with it.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, thank you for that as well. And I should have said, listeners don't realize that we are on opposite sides of the world, different poles. You're in the South Pole. I'm in the North Pole at the moment. So
right, yeah.
There is slight delays, and this is probably where the noise is coming from, and it's very strange. So, well,
yeah, I don't know what noise you're talking about, but yes, absolutely.
Yes. Well, I'm glad you can't hear at your end. I think you'd be very distracted.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't really know what to do, Matt. I don't. I can't really keep this going if we've got technical issues with these.
Yeah, no, I know. I guess that's always the risk you run into. So maybe we should wrap it up. But
yeah, I feel sad for Nina. It's impossible to answer a question about farts when no one does them, especially not you.
Yeah, never have, never will.
Well, there you go. Well, look, I'm glad to see you look you look very relieved, and I feel. You know what? Yeah.
I don't know what it is about this conversation, but I feel lighter.
Good. I'm very pleased. So I'm glad we could help you out with that, and I appreciate you coming on the show. In which case, Matt, what have you got coming up? You got court cases. More.
Yeah, all the usual court cases, some concerts. All the usual. You can find me in all the usual places. Find me in my castle. Find me on the internet.
Yep, just sort of putting your people's hands in the park, things like that, and yeah.
But with no gas.
No,
it's always gas-free pooing.
Absolutely gas-free, very environmentally friendly, and I like that. You always think about that. So good. Well, thanks, Matt. And that was your cat, wasn't it?
No, cat's out of the room. I don't know what you keep trying to.
Sorry, I'm so sorry, Matt. I'm so sorry. Listen, I've got to check this computer. I've got to make sure.
Yeah, I think you should.
I don't know what's wrong with it, and
I think you should get it sorted out.
Yeah, it's one of yours.
We've got some kind of gremlin inside it. Something wrong with its insides.
I'm gonna have to send it back to you. That's what I'm gonna have to do. It's one of yours, so
I understand, but feel like it was your doing. Probably, whatever it was.
Probably. I'll take the blame. Matt, what an awkward end to it. It's going to be one of those things that'll end up. It's
been a lovely conversation up until you had to make it weird.
I know. I'm aware. As I say, it will end up on one of those clip shows about when things go strange and But
just go away and have a think about what you've done.
Yes, I absolutely will. I will think about it. Well, thanks, Matt. Thanks for your time, and good luck.
Thanks. Bye.
Now, if you feel like a lion today because you were born under the sign of Leo,
huge thank yous to Matt Kirshen, even though I am very, very sorry. I'm not really sure what happened at the end of the interview then, and I do hope that he and his cat are all okay. Nina, I do hope you liked your sort of answer, and if not, why not send any complaints you have over in fart form? And all the postal office workers will be so disgusted that they'll be carrying around a parcel of farts, then they'll put it in the bin before I ever have to see it. If you have a question that you need to have answered, or you want to send in anything else at all, then please get your nearest staircase butts, grown-ups, to help you email me at podcast@comedyclub4kids.co.uk. You can also message on the Spotify Q&A for each episode, and I get all of those as well. Or if you want to review the show, you can do that on any of the places podcasts have reviews, and of course I see those too. And if your grown-ups would like to support this show, then they can sign you up to the advert-free Linda edition for a small fee at Apple Podcasts, Acast Plus, or patreon.com/Comedy Club for Kids. And yes, listeners, you are right. Obviously, I did not finish everyone's porridge hopes before, so if you are waiting for yours, I'm sure it's going to come next. Here are the last few. Sorrow Soaps, music please. Is your birthday when the temperature isn't quite cold, but isn't quite hot, and you have to wear a jacket, but also a t-shirt? Then you were born under the star sign of... which means you are very, very good at knitting spaghetti, and you have a natural ability to throw a shoe over 3 miles away. When I ask the stars, they say your future holds a snail, and he's not happy about it and wishes you would put him down. If there is a number 5 in the date of your birthday, then you were born under the star sign of Jurassic Park 12, Jurassic Classic. That means you only ever have odd socks, and your favourite person in the world is the president of Antarctica. I'm very pleased to say, though, your future is bright. So bright, actually, that I can't see anything in it. Wow, it really hurts my eyes to even look. Ow, that's worse than looking at the stars. That is really awful. Ow. And lastly, and also leastly, if when you were born you had a full beard already, then you, just like me, are a 42.783 blancmange. Yeah, we're the same. We're born at the same time. That's exciting. Wow. Being a 42.783 blancmange, that means you are very, very likely to have a podcast. Oh, wow, I do. That's funny. You don't believe that Spain exists? Yeah, I mean, Spain. Where exactly is that? Come on, guys. And your future prediction is... Oh, I can't wait. Let me look into the stars. You will say bye really loudly and then leave. Wow, okay, I mean, when is that going to happen? Is that going to happen soon, or is that like a little while away? Bye! Wow, it was right! You have been listening to Comedy Club for Kids Presents. Radio nonsense, radio nonsense, radio nonsense, radio nonsense, radio nonsense. It's the end.